Y'all ready?
Yes.
Well, boom Santa. Have all the children from South Carolina been good this year? Nah. They haven't been bad, but they haven't been good too. Some mischievous, right? Well, mostly, answered the little old elf as he bustled across the busy workshop to Santa's desk. That's one of my elves helping. I'm glad he's working. Santa peered down at the elf from behind the tall, teetering piles of letters that the children of South Carolina had sent him. Mostly, asked Santa, looking over the top of his glasses. Yes, but they've all been especially good in the last few days, said the elf. Jolly good, chuckled Santa. Then we better get their presents loaded up. Even though the sack of presents was really, really, really big, and the elves were really, 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 really small, they seemed to have no trouble loading it into Santa's sleigh. Though how they managed to fit such a big sack into one little sleigh, even they didn't know, but somehow they did. I know how, don't you? It's magic, right? Yeah. Splendid, boomed Santa. We're ready to go. Not quite yet, Santa, said the little old elf. One of our reindeer is missing. Oh, I wonder who that is. Okay, turn the page. Turn the page, turn the page, turn the page. Missing? Which reindeer is missing? Asked Santa. The youngest one, Santa, said the elf. It's his first flight tonight. I've called him and called him and called him and called him. But just then...
Even you're coming to Santa's house.
Yeah, okay. I'll be there.
Even you're going to Nana's house.
To Nana's house? Yeah, I'm coming to Nana's house. Okay? I promise.
Then grab your baddie. Don't forget your baddie.
I won't forget my baby. Just then, a young reindeer strolled up, munching on a large carrot. Where have you been? Asked Santa. But the youngest reindeer was crunching so loudly that it was no wonder he hadn't heard the little old elf calling. Oh, well, never mind, said Santa, giving the reindeer a little wink. He took out the Santa knave and tapped in the coordinates for South Carolina. This will guide us to South Carolina in no time. And the reindeer's going crunch, 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 crunch. Turn the page. Okay? With a flick of the reins and a jerk of the harness, off they went, racing through the sky. Ho, 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 laughed Santa. We'll soon have the presents delivered to the Palmetto State. Oh, Santa's sleigh flew through the starry night, heading south across the Arctic Ocean. On the way, they flew in the wintry air, crossing over Canada. In the wink of an eye, the sleigh was flying high above West Virginia and past North Carolina. The youngest reindeer was very excited. He had never been away from the North Pole before, so he was going on a trip too, right? Okay. They had just crossed over the Blue Ridge Mountains. I know where they're at, don't you? Yeah, when suddenly they ran into a thick fog. Mist swirled around the sleigh. They couldn't see a thing. The youngest reindeer was getting a little worried, but Santa didn't seem concerned at all. In 2 miles, said the Santa knave in a bossy lady's voice. Bossy lady's voice. Keep left at the next star. But ma'am, Santa blasted, I can't see any stars in all the fog. Soon they were hopelessly lost. Goodness gracious, what are we going to do now, son? Then through the foggy blanket, the youngest reindeer heard a faint dingling sound. Ding dong. He looked over at the old reindeer with the red nose, but he had his head down. Red nose. Wonder who that could be.
Rudolph.
Oh, you think it was Rudolph? Ding dong, ding dong, ding dong, ding dong, ding dong, ding dong. That was the sound again, like church bells ringing. The youngest reindeer turned around to look at Santa, but Santa wasn't listening. He seemed to be arguing with a little box with buttons on it. With a flick of the harness and a jerk of the reins, the youngest reindeer gave a sharp tug and headed off toward a sound of the bells, pulling Santa and his sleigh behind him. Turn the page. Whoa! Whoa, cried Santa, pulling his hat straight. What's going on? Then to his surprise, he heard a ringing sound. Well done, young reindeer, he shouted cheerfully. It must be the bells of the First Presbyterian Church in Columbia. Don't worry, children, Santa is coming. Then suddenly, crunch! The sleigh hit something as it plummeled through the fog. You have arrived, said the Santa neigh unhelpfully. You have arrived. Finally, when the fog had lifted, Santa discovered exactly where they were. Stuck right at the very top of the Christmas tree near the South Carolina State House. Everybody pull, Santa hollered. The reindeer pulled with all their might until, at last, with a screeching noise, the sleigh scraped clear of the Christmas tree, and Santa steered them safely over the Richland County Public Library and the South Carolina State Museum, above the Three Rivers Greenway, past Riverbank Zoo, along the river, and down into Santa Shoals Park. Now what we got next? Okay. Luckily, there was no real damage done, but the packages had all been jumbled up. Santa quickly put the presents back in order. All right, said Santa. Thanks to this, young reindeer, I know where we are now. Don't worry, children. Santa is coming. Santa drove his sleigh expertly from rooftop to rooftop all over South Carolina, popping in and out of the chimneys as fast as he could go, which was pretty fast for a chubby fella, right? There were big chimneys in Myrtle Beach and small chimneys in Spartanburg. He squeezed down them chimneys in Beaufort and pummeled down fat chimneys in Mount Pleasant. The youngest reindeer was amazed at how quickly they went, because he didn't realize that Santa was magic, right? Santa never seemed to get tired at all, and it looked like the children in South Carolina were going to be very lucky this year. But the youngest reindeer was starting to feel a bit weary and quite hungry too. That's just like youngsters, they get tired and hungry, don't they? Okay, turn the page. In house after house, Santa dwelled inside the sack for the packages of every size and shape. He piled them under the Christmas trees and carefully filled up the stockings with surprises. At house after house, the good children of South Carolina had left out a plate of cookies, a small glass of milk, and a big, crunchy carrot. Santa took a little bite of each cookie, a tiny sip of milk, wiped his beard, and popped his carrot into the sack. Okay, turn the page. From Greenville to Georgetown, from Summerville to Sumter, from Rock Hill to Hilton Head, from Aiken to Anderson, and all the places in between, Santa and his sleigh visited every house in South Carolina. Santa delivered presents to Abigail, Addison, Aiden, Alexander, Andrew, Ava. The list went on and on and on and on and on. Violet, Wyatt, Xavier, Zachary, Zoe, Zibble. Surely never. That must be a spelling mistake. Zibble, Zibble. Is that Zibble? We don't know. Finally, Santa had delivered the last present on his long Santa list. Great moons and stars, Santa sighed. It's past midnight, and my sack seems as heavy as ever. I hope I haven't forgotten anyone. Santa opened his sack to check it, but was full of juicy, crunchy carrots. Yeah, okay. Santa divided the carrots among all the reindeer. Good job, he said, patting the youngest reindeer gently on the nose, but the youngest reindeer didn't hear him. He was too busy munching on carrots. Then it was time to set off for home. Santa reset his Santa neigh once more to the North Pole, and soon they were speeding above Table Rock, past Seven Oaks, over Santee State Park, and above Charleston, and out over Patriots Point into the crisp, starry night. One more page. Okay. Ho, 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 Santa laughed. Merry Christmas, South Carolina. Ho, ho, ho. That's a good story, wasn't it? I like that one. Yay!